What's going on, guys? JFC here. Guys, we are starting to get some EAFC 24 leaks. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar, I'll quickly say we are not going to get a FIFA 24. There will not be a game titled FIFA 24. EA are now no longer partners with FIFA, the brand. So instead, we're going to get a game called EA Sports FC 24, which is basically going to be the next FIFA, right? There's not going to be too much of a difference, at least not that we are expecting. And we're going to kind of cover everything that we know about EA Sports FC 24 in this video. And over the last couple days, we're kind of starting to hear more and more about it. We're already getting into April, and the reveal for EAFC 24 actually is supposed to come in July 2023. EA tweeted this tweet May 10th, 2022. So they've obviously known that the partnership was going to end for quite some time now. And this game is going to be revealed in July. So that is, if you call it April, July would be 3 months from now. Probably going to see a teaser trailer in June. That would be 2 months from now. So this game is in the middle of development. It's happening right now. It probably is getting towards the end of development and more on like the refining stage. I'm not going to say I know a lot about game design, but I know for sure EA have known about this license being gone for a couple years now. And also by this time, we have a lot of the new features already kind of being added into the game, and that stuff is already kind of planned out. So right now, it looks like we have our first set of leaks here, and I've got a lot more than just this tweet, so we will go through all of that here in a sec. So these leaks you have to take with a little bit of a grain of salt because it is pre-alpha. They definitely could still change some things. Like I said, the game is still getting pretty much made right now. They could definitely delay some things. They could add some things. We're still not 100% sure. We have to take it with a little bit of grain of salt. But Fudzone's been right in the past. He's got some inside scoops on this kind of stuff. And there are a couple things that once we get through all these leaks here, I will kind of say are pretty much confirmed for EAFC 24 and some that I think I'm a little less optimistic about. It is not free to play, so I'm not surprised by that. eFootball, if you guys know, the old PES basically went kind of that free-to-play model. There were some rumors getting stirred around there that maybe EAFC would kind of be that free-to-play model. Looks like that's not going to be the case. Online career mode and duels. Now, I'm not sure what duels means, but online career mode's been something that's kind of been rumored for a couple of years now. I think people kind of thought it'd be a FIFA 23 thing. Turns out it was delayed even longer. Looks like it's going to be an EAFC 24 feature. And duels, let me know what you guys think that could be. Maybe that could be a career mode where you're, controlling, say, Arsenal, your friend's controlling Liverpool or something like that, and you go head to head. Maybe that's considered duels, and an online career mode would be like you and a friend being on the same team. Maybe that's kind of the difference there. Volta revamp. So it looks like Volta is going to get a huge revamp. I know Volta has not been able to kind of keep a player base really, but I do think there could be potential there. I think they'd have to tie it into Ultimate Team a little bit, and then they could kind of possibly, expand on that game a little bit more. I'm not too hopeful for that. I don't think Volta is going to be a very popular thing with a lot of people, unfortunately. I don't play it either, so I can't really blame them. Expansion of women's football. I'm not surprised with this either. We saw the Northwood Soccer League get added, the women's MLS. We saw a lot of new women's things being added, just like this last update. We'll talk more about that here in a sec. September, October release, kind of what we were expecting. That's the usual release date for whatever FIFA game comes out. And then competitive co-op mode in the works. This is a pretty big one for me, in my opinion. I think we've needed a 2v2 FUT Champs. I think we really needed that. I think we need a 1v1 FUT Champs and a 2v2 FUT Champs. I think you can also play them separately too. I think that would be a huge benefit and allow for I think your game will last a lot longer if you can play with your friends. Just the more you can play with your friends, I think the longer your game will last. And FIFA was really bad at that up until, FIFA 21, I think, was the first time we could play co-op Ultimate Team. I think expanding on the co-op mode or like just the multiplayer aspect of it is probably the future of the Ultimate Team type game modes. They've just been scared of doing that because they're afraid that their profits won't be quite the same if you give people, the ability to use a better player on a friend's team, right? That's kind of what they're scared of there. Now, people have been wondering license stuff. Are there going to be license issues with the fact that people are losing the FIFA license? Doesn't look like we're going to have that issue. Premier League just actually was secured for another long-term deal. I'm not sure the exact number of years was released, but it's for sure back on a contract extension. So the Premier League is going to be secured. I don't think there was any fear from anybody, though, that was not going to be the case. So obviously they had the partnerships for like the Premier League clubs, but what about everybody else, right? People are wondering, are we going to see like the PES kind of thing where we would see random club names, but then it kind of keep the player names? You don't know PES. You would basically have like a fake La Liga, but they would also have all the real players on it. So you would have the real faces and the real player likenesses. But it looks like licenses are going to pretty much stay the same. They might lose a couple leagues. They have the FIFA Pro deal, which is basically the rights to all the players. EA have already worked with La Liga, the Champions League, League, Serie A, Bundesliga. I mean, they've worked with all the leagues. And if I had to make my prediction, I think we will pretty much see almost no difference in licensing. You might see a relatively decent sized league not be there. You might see a Portuguese league not being there, or a Mexican league or something like that, because it's probably going to be difficult for them to allocate all the resources to get all the leagues back. They're going to allocate all the resources to the top 5 leagues, and maybe we're going to kind of miss a few right outside the top 5 if I had to guess. So an insider labeled online career mode as one of the biggest projects in FIFA history. Obviously, as somebody who likes career mode, this is pretty exciting for me. Even though I make Ultimate Team videos on a daily basis, I still do love career mode. I think online career mode has a lot of potential just in terms of content creation, in terms of entertainment. As FIFA fans, I do believe that an online career mode would really be a lot of fun. It just would be a lot of fun. Now, unfortunately, as of right now, it looks like no real clubs. You have to create your own. Now, this would be a massive L. This would honestly kind of make online career mode significantly worse. Now, he does say down here, in a reply to a tweet, no real clubs is a huge L. He replies, it could be just for the pre-alpha and maybe something they look at over the next few months of adding real clubs. It's not all doom and gloom. Because as he said right now, he probably has a lot of information about the pre-alpha. Probably somebody has their hands on the pre-alpha and is feeding him information about that. That's what if I had to guess. There's a chance that there just could not be any real clubs in the online career mode in the pre-alpha, right? Maybe they're just kind of adding that stuff later. But as of right now, the pre-alpha stuff, there's no real clubs. There will be a limit of players running each club. I kind of figured that would be the case. Probably going to be like, honestly, probably 2 or 3. 5 transfers limited per window. I don't know why that would be a thing. I have no idea. Why would they limit the transfer window? Cut scenes for training your players. Okay, cool. So that's all we've got, though. There's a lot to think about in that. I mean, it would be hard for me to believe that they've been working on and delaying online career mode for a year and a half now, and you're not gonna be able to use real clubs. I think that would be really strange, a really weird decision to make. So if I had to like take a stab at this, I would say that they will have real clubs on my career mode. Here's a screenshot of an image of EAFC. I'm assuming he's getting fed information from somebody who has like the pre-alpha, right? That's probably what, like, that's probably like a loading screen of some kind of EAFC. I'm just taking a guess, you know, he's just kind of teasing it for us. But so if you guys missed this, Infantino, who is the FIFA president, said FIFA will go head-to-head with EA Sports by launching rival video game. EA Sports refused the cash demands to keep FIFA's name, right? The new FIFA game, FIFA 25, 26, 27, and so on, will always be the best e-game for any boy or girl. We will have news on this very soon. So then Chew Boy, who used to work at EA, so he kind of knows a thing or two about this kind of stuff, he said, thoughts? Sounds like there won't be a FIFA 24. I would assume there wouldn't be, probably not enough time to develop a game, right? To rival EA Sports FC 24, which is probably a big deal for FIFA, honestly. I think without having a rival for EA Sports FC 24, it's going to probably be a really big ask to have people go back to the FIFA franchise, but we'll just have to see. Meaning Pez probably turned down the offer to be FIFA for now. I was kind of surprised by this. I didn't really think about that, but there's a chance that, you know, the Pez team could end up as the new FIFA. They'd have a lot of new licenses that way. But yeah, he said that they probably turned it down. Him saying e-game tells me FIFA's out of touch. I mean, that's not surprising. Who would have thought FIFA would be out of touch? He's underestimating the difficulty of making a new sports game from a year behind. That's exactly what I just kind of said there. I was like, not having a game for 24 is going to be really difficult to get the people back for 25. If you're a fan of the NBA franchises, NBA Live went away for like 3 years, then came back, and the game was not very good. And then at that point, people just completely abandoned the franchise. E doesn't even make the game anymore. Not having a yearly release game when your competitors are yearly releasing is very difficult. So I don't really believe in FIFA. I don't really believe in them. I think eFootball I believe in more, even though their game has just not quite been up to par for many years now. Obviously, we had the rumors that women could be an Ultimate Team, either combined with the men or in their own separate game mode. I kind of said, like, I just wouldn't care. Honestly, I just personally wouldn't care if they were combined. As long as, obviously, the physics engine could handle it, then great. We've seen in pro clubs that women and men can play together just fine, and nobody gets upset. But women in Ultimate Team, people are like, I'm not buying the game next year. It's like, we know you're buying the game next year, bro. I promise you'll be okay. As long as it's not allocated a ton of resources into it and as other, like, as long as it's not one of the main additions, I think it's fine. But I honestly would kind of doubt they'd be together. I think that's kind of, they would probably get kind of scared of that. They'd be that's a little too ambitious for them maybe. So I'd put this one probably a little less likely. I think there'll be expanded women's things, women's career mode probably. I think that'll happen first before a women's Ultimate Team would happen. That's just my opinion though. So the one thing I definitely think we can like definitively count on for sure is online career mode. I think online career mode is a guarantee to come in EAFC 24. And I also think that this game is going to be a lot more like FIFA than probably we're going to think it's going to be. That was my other thing that I think we can count on. I think it's going to look a lot like Ultimate Team has been for a long time. There will definitely be a few noticeable differences because there is every single year, right? But I don't think it's going to be huge. I think EA have a $1 billion moneymaker. They're not going to try and change too much of it. They're just not going to. I think it'd be dumb for them to do that, and they know better than that. Now, what do you guys want for EA FC 24? Draw, quit equals win. If this isn't a thing next year, there's no excuse. There's no excuse for that. Promo cards equals red picks. That should 100% be a thing. Claim all objectives, sure. 3-minute squad battles halves, sure. There's definitely a lot of things that FIFA can improve on, right? We all know this. We play the game on a daily basis, most of you. You know what they can improve on. And I will say, I'm not a person who's necessarily the most optimistic when it comes to EA. Like, I'm just not. Over the years, I just haven't necessarily delivered on every FIFA game. I'd see Inception on my timeline right here, just absolutely raging at the fact that the gameplay is still horrible. He said it's honestly the craziest problem you'll see in gaming history, and it is pretty insane. So I'm not the person who's the most optimistic about FIFA, but I do think there's potential for this game to be their best game yet. I think that there's a reason that they wanted to get rid of the FIFA license. There's a reason for that. Yes, they had to pay them, but at the same time, if they believe they can make the same amount of money without paying them and change the entire name of the game, which is a huge part of the game, they trust themselves to make a good product. Like, they definitely do. And I think that there's probably some things that we're holding them back, and I hope that this can kind of be a starting point for a better FIFA game. That would be my goal, and I think that's what I think would be best case scenario for all of us FIFA fans out there. What do you guys think? Will EA FC 24 be better than ever? Are you excited for it? Are you not excited for it? Let me know what you guys think. I love you all. See you next video very, very soon. Peace.